Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by way of Stone Mountain, Georgia, birthed by the great state of South Carolina, is the Bryant Land Country Podcast, your place for any and everything in hunting, fishing, sports, and outdoor related, with heavy doses of randomness, guests, and an all-around good time. Here's your host, proud Gamecock, South Carolina forever, AB3.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I'm your host, AB3. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for downloading, listening, telling people, hitting that 5-star button. That is very, very important if you're listening to us on that Apple Podcast deal. Hitting that 5-star button, leaving a favorable review. We appreciate it all. This week on the Bryant Land Country Podcast, we're talking ATV riding, and I got a guy that knows a lot about ATV riding. He's kind of like the Don King of Arkansas, big in promotions, runs a lot of ATV benefit rides, even runs his own bow hunting tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, I got Fred Newton on the line for the Bryant Land Country Podcast. I've watched him through Instagram here for the last few months, and if you look at any of his videos on Instagram, he is having a great time. They're doing some fun things down in Arkansas with ATV rides. So this is a 2-part conversation. First part, we're going to talk about, his background getting into ATVs and riding ATVs as a kid and just how, he got these benefit rides going. And then the second part later on down the line, which I'll probably drop next week, we'll talk about, bow hunting and just a little bit of hunting. But this week, right now, Fred Newton, riding ATVs, mudding, getting dirty down in Arkansas. You guys kick back. I'm going to fall back and listen to my conversation with Fred Newton on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. So, when you try to get people together to do these podcasts and a man says to you, when I send out an email or inbox and it says, hey, what's your availability? I'd like to get you on a podcast. When a man says to you, right now I'm working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. 7 days straight. His only availability is from noon till 5, and he's willing to take some time with me. I got to give it up to him, because 7 days straight, 12 hours, brother. What are you out here doing? What you got going on?
Man, just my job. Hey, my job ring. We like that. One of our building, our department caught on fire. So,
oh wow,
a chemical fire. We had a drum catch on fire while we were packing it, breaking it down to burn, and it burnt our building down. So, in order for the job, to keep going, they had to split our shifts up. Some work days and some work nights. So I end up on the night shift, 7 days a week.
Wow. And this is at a packing, like a meat packing plant or a packing plant?
It's like a chemical plant. We get anything you can think of in the burn. We burn some of everything.
Wow.
A tear gas, you name it, we burn it. So some stuff we have to break down in small portions to burn. We can't just burn the whole drum. We have to break it down in small portions.
Man, is that something like, did you have like a military background in order to do that? Or is that like on the job training?
Yeah, it's on the job training.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on job training.
Man, well, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to join me, man, on this podcast. I have kind of watched your page for a little bit here, and not to mention you've been a big supporter of the Bryant Land brand from day one. So it's finally, great to get a chance to talk to you, man.
I appreciate it.
So one of the things that drew me to your page and stuff, man, y'all are out here with these ATVs. Y'all are riding, and this ain't no leisurely Sunday afternoon rides. Like, y'all are out there in some mud bogs and things like that. Tell me a little bit about that. Have you always grown up like riding ATVs and stuff out there in the country in Arkansas? Tell me a little bit about it.
I started riding 4-wheelers, mudding, back when I was probably about 8, 9, 10 years old in a little town called Strong, Arkansas. My uncles and them, they did it. Right now, I still have an uncle that ride with us. He probably like 72. And man,
are you serious?
He's still getting with it. He's still out there with us.
Wow. In the bogs and everything, and the maneuvering and everything?
In everything. I'm talking about
Wow.
he's still moving like he young. You know, man, it's fun. It's something we do. You know, we all get together, have fun. You know, sit back, ride, drink beer, have fun, talk noise. It's something everybody. It ain't no certain people. It just everybody come together and have a good time. You know, to get away from work and relax during the end of the week. So, man, it's real fun.
Yeah, I have always, I can say, like, whenever you take a ride just through the woods on an ATV, it is relaxing. Before I got into hunting and started hardcore hunting, I would ride, I purchased the ATV and then I would go to a couple of ATV places, ATV parks or whatever, and just ride. And, getting stuck in the mud holes and stuff, for me, it was kind of fun, but I just like a nice leisurely ride, maybe, hit a few, bumps or mud pits here and there. Every now and then, I'd need my, winch to drag me out of a hole, and I, would get back on the trail or whatever. But for the most part, I like a nice little comfortable ride. The videos and the pictures that I've seen on your Instagram ain't nothing leisurely or comfortable about none of them rides out there.
Well, you can see the stuff we posted, but most of all the holes we go to, most of them you can go around. So we got little spots where we cut out where people can sit back and record and just sit back and watch. But me, man, it's like I'm in a different world out there, man. I'm relaxed, hitting every hole I see, swimming, just enjoying life.
Yeah, 'cause I seen on one of your posts where you was like, it ain't a true ride until I go swimming.
Exactly. So once I get out there, I'm like a fish out of water. I gotta find me a hole to swim in. I gotta get wet first.
How deep of mud holes are we talking about out there? 'Cause just from what I've seen, man, I've seen folks having to really do some maneuvering to get through them things. How deep of a hole are you talking about?
We have holes. I'm 5'5". We have holes come up to my neck, and sometimes we got one or two occasionally get over my head. I used to wear waders. And, that's why I quit wearing waders. I was in the hole one time, and water got on the inside of the wader, and I almost drowned.
Right.
Hey, we got some deep holes. It just depends on if you man enough to hit them.
Man or woman enough, because y'all got some ladies out there with y'all too.
Yes, sir. We got ladies. Actually, we have a little group that ride with us, man. We probably got about 6 or 7 women, and we got about 2 or 3 of them. They do everything the man do.
Man, can't hold them down.
No, can't hold them down. They love to have fun too. We got kids too. We got kids all ages get in there.
Mm-hmm. What's the largest group in one of your rides, your organized rides that you had?
The largest group, I think one group got about 40 to 50 members. And then our group ride, for its people coming, man, the largest group we had one year, which is about a year and a half ago, we counted like 350 bikes. It's just the bikes, not the people.
So, and these are like ATVs, side by sides, mud bikes, all kind of
anything from a 3-wheeler to a side by side. We don't have no trucks. It's just all ATVs and UTVs.
Wow. Now, you put together a couple of these rides a year. You all, just from looking at your page, I can almost, from the ATV events to like a bow hunting event, and I saw some other things that you're promoting. You're almost like the Don King of Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
Like you got your hands in promoting a lot of things. Tell me about these benefit rides and stuff that you promoting. Are they all like club rides, or like what do you got there?
The benefits ride, all they is, man, I like to return my love to, whoever I can. The benefits ride, like people we probably know that have cancer, going through a hard time, or, anything that a person in need might need, I try to go talk to them and, have a ride to help them out on everything. So, that's where the benefits ride come from, whatever a person might need. You know, once I talk to them, I put everything together and, you know, try to get the word out at least ahead of time, you know, for everybody can get their schedule out. Then, you know, I check with other groups around, make sure they don't have nothing going on. You know, that way we ain't clashing on the event. But, you know, it's basically to help anyone out that we can.
Right. Now, when you say now check with other groups and try not to clash, how many different groups you got down there in Arkansas?
In Arkansas alone, we probably got about, you know, that I can think of off top, about 20 groups. Then you also have Louisiana, and Louisiana got quite a few groups. Mississippi, you know, it's people coming from Texas. It just, you know, everywhere, you know, in the surrounding area.
Man, wow. But that's awesome that you have developed a rider and a benefit in order to just give back to the community. Now, I know those aren't the only ones you do, because you guys get together and then you have just like, or sponsored, or not benefit, but sponsored or rides that where you have like vendors and stuff like that. How often are you putting those on?
We probably do about at least 3 of those a year. You know, we'll do rides where we'll contact any people that cook, vendors, or whoever want to come out and sell something. You know, we'll basically put rides together, let them come out and try to help them out in the kind of way we can. So it's always nice. Every year, at least 3 rides we'll do like that. And, you know, people come out, have fun, drink, meet new people. And that's the best thing about Mud, meeting different people from different areas, man. And that's how, over the years, going to different rides, meeting people, that's how I build everything up. Why all my rides are so big, you know, returning the love.
Exactly. Now, how far, as far as you can remember, what's the furthest that anybody has ever come to attend one of your rides?
The farthest, it was what part of Mississippi they were from. It was like a 6-hour drive for them.
Wow.
And, man, they come down. It was like a group. They came down, man. Every year now, since they came, they try to come to our main ride is like around May 4th, like the second weekend, first weekend in May. It's our big annual ride. And, man, every year they come down to that. And shoot, every time they have something, I try to at least go up there 1 time, 2 times to show some love. So anybody come, if I meet you, you know, you let me know you came, you know, it's doing me some good. Now, long you come down, you show love, and you actually have a smile on your face, I feel like my job done.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to have to see. Maybe I might have to put in for some time off or something, but I got to find a way to break that record, because I think 6 hours, I think I can beat 6 hours coming from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
I look at these rides and stuff, but man, I got to get my ATV together. Like, I've had my ATV now since since 2014. It's a Yamaha Grizzly.
Yes, sir.
450. So it's not the big boy, but it'll get around these little trails, and it'll get around in, you know, this clay and this nastiness here in Georgia. And I've taken it to South Carolina. Hell, I think I've even taken it to Texas, Tennessee. I've ridden there, but man, I got to do something to get it ready for them mud bogs that you got in Arkansas, because I don't think that my little, ATV that I use now to get around, you know, my hunting property and then ride every now and then, I don't know if it can handle some of them holes you got down there.
It'll handle it, man. We got kids, man. They come out on they little 4-wheeler, small 250s, little 50, 90s. And man, if they can make it, I know it. We even have dirt bikes out there.
Man, so what does Fred ride? What's your ride?
Man, I'm a Honda guy. I ride a Honda 420. I've been having it, man, for since 2011. And wow. I had one that's a 08, and I've been having it since 08. So.
And just know you do all the maintenance and stuff on them yourself?
Yeah, I do all the maintenance and stuff on myself. Most of the time I do try to do the inside of the motor myself, but I got a guy, little partner I grew up with. Most of the time I let him do the inside, you know, just to help him out. Yeah, so most of the maintenance I do myself. I keep my mud bikes, and then I have my side-by-side that I use for hunting purposes.
You know, that's the next thing that I want to get into is I want to get a side by side. Cause like I said, my little Grizzly, man, it don't get me wrong. It's a tank. It's a workhorse now. We can get out there and we've figured out ways, you know, to pull stuff in. I've hauled deer out with it. You know, I've loaded it up and bringing in supplies and stands and all kind of stuff. So it's a tank. Don't get me wrong, but man, that side by side, now you talking about some room, you talking about some space. It opens up your options.
Yes, sir. It do. You know, I keep a little four wheeler just for a backup too. That before I got my side by side, I used to ride Honda 420 to the wood, and man, when I got this side by side, you can tell the words are different. All the corn and wreck everything you have to put on their deer stand. Man, when you get that side by side, you can just throw it in the back of the bed. Ain't got to worry about it falling off. You know?
Man, it's funny because we were at the land yesterday, me and my son, and we loading up bags. We had 2 spots we had to put feed in. So we put 2 bags on the back, and you know, I strapped it down like on the little strap gate or whatever, and I walked in. You know, I let him drive. You know, he's 14, so I'm letting him, you know, drive, you know, the ATV or whatever, get his kicks. So we go in. Like I said, I let him drive. I walk in or whatever. Man, that rascal hit and I'm always telling him, I'm like, okay, look, nice and easy now. Cause, you know, we out here, you know, in the middle of nowhere. Just, you know, take it. I know you're excited. Take it easy. Nice and easy. Man, he hit the gas. He takes off and then he realizes he's going a little bit too fast and then he slows down. But man, he cuts a corner. Bag of feed falls off. Now, we all know, especially if you're using good quality feed. I ain't talking about corn, nothing against, you know, corn or anything like that, but I'm talking about some high dollar supplemental feed.
Yes.
Whenever you looking at them bags and they fall or they like land wrong when you're unloading them or whatever, it's almost like it happens in slow motion. You're looking at it and you're like, just like that bag fall, and he hit that corner and that bag fell off. And like I said, it's falling in slow motion and it hit the ground. And I'm just like, Jesus, don't let this thing bust. Cause that's 14, 15, whatever you pay for your good feed. Yes, that right there. If it hits that ground, it's a wrap. I don't care how much shoveling you can do, you know, whatever, especially if you're going deep in the woods with it, you know, it's going to be a problem. So he hits the corner and he turns and I watch that bag of feed fall off. And mind you, I had the thing strapped down. I guess I didn't have it strapped down good enough. I'll take that L. I'll take that. That's my responsibility. Daddy messed up. Okay. I'll take that one. But he hit that corner and that feed fell on the ground, and I'm just looking at him like, okay, you know, obviously first he realized it too, because he hit the corner and then I guess he felt it like falling off, and then he kind of stopped and he looked back and he looked at the bag and he looked at me, and I'm just kind of like, all right, just slow it down a little bit. And then he's looking at the bag. So I go check the bag out, and I'm telling you, unless you hunt and you have like a feeding program for your deer, you just don't understand. Like, I know it seems like, like, I know if you listen to this podcast and you don't really hunt and you don't really, you know, do like a whole lot of supplemental feeding, you're like, man, why are you going on and on about a bag of feed? Well, because it's like friggin' gold, and you're looking at it and you're like looking over the back. It's almost like a person fell off. Like you're looking at the bag. It's like, did it bust? Is there anything in the bag? Like, are there any dents, any cuts? Like if I pick this bag up, is all the feed gonna fall out? Like you know, it's like a person when they fall and they tell you, you know, don't move them. Like you gotta make sure that everything is everything. So, you know, he stopped. He looks back at it. He starts to get off. I'm like, nope, you good. You know, I pick it up. Everything's fine. Put it back on. Strap it back down. My point in this whole story is you get a side by side. You don't have to worry about that. You just toss it in the back, and as long as you got your tailgate good, you and that some bitch is good. You can ease on into the woods and everything is everything. Fred, does side by sides cost as much as a small car though, brother?
But luckily, this one I got, I didn't buy it brand new. It was actually probably about, I'm gonna say it was 2 years old when I bought it. And, but yeah, they are expensive. They real expensive, man. And,
Man, I have to take a look on the resale market because I'm looking at them and I'm like, good grief.
Yes, man, they expensive, man. It's like a small car, son, when you buy it.
Yeah.
Man, see, that's the thing about mud, and I love the mud, you know. Side by side, they fun, but getting them in the mud, you know, it take a whole lot to get them unstuck. But me personally, I couldn't go buy no brand new one and put in the mud like that.
So you will probably laugh at me. So when I bought that Grizzly, I bought it brand new.
Yes, sir.
And saved up my money. I actually went, I put a down payment on it, and you know, I paid it off or whatever, and then went kind of like a layaway. Once I paid it off, and then I picked it up or whatever. The funny story about that is, you know, I go in, the day that I go to like pick it up, I got cash, whatever the amount, you know, it was or whatever, I got cash. And I mean, I made out like a bandit because like I got like a winch, a new tires, like upgraded tires, and the undercover. So instead of the plastic undercover, you know, I got like a updated, you know, like steel undercover or whatever it is. So I made out like a bandit. We sitting there, and I won't say, you know, the business name or whatever, but it's here in Georgia and they got a few branches. We sitting there. I'm like, all right, came pick up my ATV, you know, fill out paperwork, gonna hand you over, you know, the cash for the rest of it. Well, you sure you don't want to finance it? Yeah. Pretty sure. It's like, cause, you know, we got a great deal right now, you know, APR, blah, 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 all this. I'm like, okay, nope, got cash right here. Can just want to pay my balance off, load up my ATV and get in the woods. So here we go back and forth, you know, about another 5-6 minutes. Finally, I said, hey man, look here. I got cash. I'm going to pay for this thing. Either we can finish this up, or you can go tell your supervisor why you just lost a sale on a cash ATV. Like what's it going to be? I can't see financing a recreational vehicle. I mean, yes, it was brand new, and yes, like I said, I've had that thing now, and it's a tank. Yeah. And I mean, at first, when I first got it, I was real, you know, I handled it like with kid gloves, you know, every, whatever it is, like 30 hours or whatnot, I was going to get the oil changed and all that other stuff. Now, man, I might clean the filter out maybe like once every other year. I can't lie. But the thing runs like a tank, man. Like you can't go in there and then they trying to hook you like with the finance and stuff. It's like, no, man, I saved up. I worked hard. I saved up. Here's the cash. Give me my machine or else, you know, you're going to be SOL. Like, I don't understand that. I've never had anybody like basically turn down cash in order just to get the finance. I know the finance is the long play because they hit you with the interest and all the other BS, but cash, Jack, right here. Like, what, you know, what are you doing?
And I'm the same way. When it's come to ATV and thing, I like to just save up and just go pay cash for it. Go and get it out the way.
Yeah. You know, like, you ain't got time to be monkeying around. You got real life stuff to do it, and y'all trying to create another bill. Man, you ain't got time for that. Yeah. You ain't got time
My
for
wife,
that.
she hates to see new stuff.
See, now, that's the thing. I don't have that problem. Now that's one thing I can say, for better or worse. And I mean, I can do a whole podcast on relationship stuff, but when it comes to hunting and, you know, my extracurricular stuff and my, you know, quote unquote toys and all that, I work for my money. Ain't nobody gonna ask me anything about it.
Yeah, my wife, she might give me a hard time, but she know, like, he work hard for her and he do everything, so he entitled to it.
Now, does she get out there and ride with you too? Does she have her own machine, or what y'all got going on there?
That's basically, the side by side, you know, it's for my hunting purposes. And, you know, she used to ride four-wheelers with me. She had her own. Well, about a couple of years ago, she had surgery on her neck. They put a metal plate in. So she had to sit out for 2 years or so. She was itching to go back. And me, you know, I ain't like her being on the four-wheeler, you know, with the bumps and all that. And something might go wrong.
Definitely.
So her and, we got a little niece that we keep all the time. Well, she's basically our daughter. She, 4 years old. She like going. So that's basically why I went and got the side by side. You know, for them to come out and just still go and, go around the mud holes, but they can still experience everything. So, yeah, she goes, she love it.
Man, that's awesome.
She love it. She'll go out. And one thing about hunting, I can't get her to do. She'll go, but she ain't go shoot nothing.
Now, this your wife or your niece?
My wife. She'll go hunt with me, but she ain't go shoot nothing. She just like going out there, sitting in the woods with me.
Yeah, that's my son. Like, I bought him a bow a couple years ago, but I can't get him to constantly practice to get to the point where we feel comfortable enough shooting or whatnot. But he'll go now. If I say, I'm going deer hunting or going turkey hunting or whatever, he'll get up, he'll go, he'll help me pack stuff in, he'll run the camera. He like, running camera with the animals and stuff and, getting some shots of the animals and whatnot. But yeah, no, I can't get him to shoot enough to where I feel comfortable turning him loose. And it's crazy because I feel bad for him more than he does because, he's out there, lifting corn, lifting feed, driving the ATV, helping me with food plots, helping me with, moving cameras around. Like, he's doing all the work. And so when September comes, it's like, all right, I want you to feel the reward, like get on one of these deer or whatever. But that rascal won't shoot. And you got to shoot, man. You can't just show up September 15th and draw back a bow and hope that, hope for good things to happen. Like, so I don't know. Couple more things though I want to ask you about the ATVs before I transfer into the hunting. Now, you were saying before about like the side by sides being harder to get out of the holes. Now, you would think because of the weight they would be and the horsepower and stuff that go along with those, you think they would be a little bit more easy to navigate and get through those things. So you're saying not really?
No, man, the side by side, you got the 4-seaters and the 2-seaters, and then most people, they'll go to putting lifts on them. They'll put like a 6-7 inch lift, man, with 35, 20-inch wheels. Man, they basically like trucks, big trucks coming through.
Right.
Once you get one down in the mud, man, you have to have like 4 side by side with 5,000-pound winches to get them out. And man, it's a workout, man. I seen one at a ride. We had a guy come down on a Can-Am 1000 Maverick, and he had like some 40s on it, and we got him in the hole. It was like around 5 o'clock when he got in the hole. Man, it was 10 o'clock that night before we got him out.
Are you serious?
We basically had to go get a truck winch. It was like a 12,000-pound winch, a portable winch. The hook to him on the back of it, and we had to run it probably about 60 foot across to a big pine tree and hook to get him out, and then hook another winch to him.
Oh my God. Wow. And he's just sitting there, people just going past him, just kind of looking.
Well,
waiting.
no, we was all at this one spot where we call a bonnet hole. It's like we have a hole in a big area that everybody can sit back and just watch people go through.
Okay.
So, we actually I let some of a partner leave the rest of them on, and man, we sit back there till about 10 o'clock that night trying to get him out.
Oh, wow. Cause I know when I used to go to the, place that I go to up here, Durhamtown down in, middle Georgia, and I would see people either get a side by side stuck or get their ATV stuck. And like sometimes, obviously you try to do the neighborly thing and you try to help them out, especially if they got like them little 90cc or them, foreign built, knockoff ATVs or whatever. They'll get out there in a place like Durhamtown and stuff, and I'm just looking at them, they get stuck or whatnot. And you try to help them out, but man, I kind of feel for them sometimes when I can't help them out, because they just sitting there on the trail waiting for like a trail ranger or trail officer to come and pull them out, and it's just like, man,
it's a job.
That's a tough piece of
job,
business.
Man. Everybody, that's what I try to tell people on ride. The rides are not easy. They not easy.
Right. The
only part about riding is the people who come to ride, they have the most fun, than the people hosting the ride. But, if everybody work together, everybody have fun. And me personally, I have a person in the back with the radio. If something go on, I try to stop the ride or get somebody back there to help them, or if not, I help. But my job ain't done till everybody is back where we parked at. So, man, I seen days I be out there 10, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, you know, making sure everybody get out the woods. Yeah, so.
Man. Now, how long are the trails? Like, is it just one big circle, or do you go like down and then come back, or how are these trails figured?
The trails, man, they range anywhere from, we liable to ride with a big group through the woods, you know, you liable to ride like 20 miles. It's all in a big circle, you know, but it's different places. You liable to ride 10 miles one way and then 10 miles back a different way. So we usually take off on a ride. If we just have one ride, what I call one ride, we try to do two different rides. We'll leave on one like 12 and be back at 2. Let everybody eat, do whatever. We'll have more people come in. We'll leave out what we call a big ride, which we gonna be gone until it's dark. We'll leave out by 3, 4, and we probably won't make it back to 8 o'clock sometime, or sometime before that.
Man, and then obviously, of course, you got like guys carrying like gas cans and supply. Like, do you have like a dedicated like supply like ATV or supply side by side like for everybody, or is everybody kind of responsible for their own?
Well, we try to have one with everything on it, and then you know some people there bring stuff. If somebody go down, anybody go help. So, you go get some help. So, but we usually have one with everything on it, you know, for wrenches and air tank or something like that. Booster cable, you know, to give a person a jump. It depends on what it is. And then if somebody had to go back, we'll designate them person to get them back, or we'll try to get them back best way we can. But you won't be left in the woods. We won't.
Be like, look, man, thank you for coming, but you're on your own. Good luck. The coyotes come out around about 11
we ain't gonna leave them out like that.
Man, that's also, it sounds like a lot of fun. Like I said, that's why I got into ATV, and before I got into hunting, man, it was because I grew up in the country. I grew up in South Carolina. And, you know, I always wanted a 4-wheel and stuff. And then when I started working and was able to get the means to have one, man, when I got that thing, I think I rode all over Georgia. Like anywhere I could find to sink my wheels into some dirt. And it's funny because I saw you posted, you were like, okay, you know, after this ride, mud season's going to be over. And I was thinking to myself, man, when I first started, mud season was year round. There have been times I've been in the woods and it's, you know, 15, you know how it is. It could be 45 where you park. And then by the time you get deep in the woods, the temp done drop, you know, 10, 15 degrees, and I'm busting ice sheets. And I got like pictures of where, you know, the ice is like 2 and 3 inches deep, where, you know, I busted through like a hole or something like that, man. Like I said, it ain't nothing like it. I enjoy it.
It's fun.
I enjoy it.
It's exciting. We get a chance to come down, you know, I tell anybody, at least come one time. Mud, man, it's fun. I got some cousins that stay in the city, and they basically like city boys. So they were making fun. Man, y'all out there getting dirty, mud all in your face. Y'all don't know what that stuff is. I said, man, don't knock it till you try it. I said, y'all just come down one time. I said, I guarantee you'll be back. And man, they come one time. I took them on the ride. You know, whoever could ride 4-wheeler, I actually had 4-wheeler where they can ride. And man, I took them on the ride. It's just a small group of, we went out having fun. And man, after that, they went buying 4-wheelers and they ain't stopped yet. Man.
Now, when you say city boys, what, like, are we talking like up North City or Little Rock City?
Little Rock City, you know, in Little Rock, we got some in Little Rock that I call city boys, and look, Alvarado, you know, it's kind of still country, but it's a little city. You have some in El Dorado, Arkansas that ain't never been. So once they went, man, they were lit up like a Christmas tree. They always hollering, when you going back? When you going back? And, I actually have one of my cousins, he a mechanic, he work on cars and stuff, and he don't stay too far from me. And every time he be at the shop, he'll see me pulling the phone. Man, I'm finna go mud. He'll share the shop down. Go right.
See, and that's my point. That's why I asked you, like, city, like, up north, like big city, or like Little Rock. Cause, like I'm from like I said, I'm from South Carolina, and it kills me. Like, the entire state is country. Okay. It's like Arkansas. The entire state is country. Like, don't get, all sedated because you in Columbia or Charleston or Greenville. You just as country as anybody. If you born and raised in South Carolina, I don't care if you grew up on a dirt road like I did, or if you grew up in the projects in Columbia. You still country. Yeah. Don't get on your horse and act all sedated and I don't want to play in the mud and you don't know where the dirt been. It's been a lot better places than probably that water you got in the projects or wherever else you grew up in the city. So that's why I asked that question, because I get family members or people that you used to grow up with or whatever, and it's just like, man, calm down.
Yeah, exactly.
You in Columbia.
You ain't been nowhere. You just moved to the city.
Like
city. You still from the country.
Like right. Like your life's accomplishment was moving to Columbia. Just calm down, okay?
Man.
You ain't go to New York City or Atlanta or nowhere like that. And even living in Georgia is like, I've run across a couple of people, they from like way down yonder, like Waycross, and, there's actually a Willacoochee, Georgia. I always used to think Cedric the Entertainer was playing when he said that, but there's actually a Willacoochee, Georgia. And then you meet some of these folks that's from way down yonder down there, and then they, in Atlanta or whatever, and they all sedated and high. So I'm like, man, look here. But anyway, I can keep going on that forever. Your ATVs, like you said, since you do all the work and stuff, have you made any kind of modifications? Like, are they lifted? Do you got the big tires and stuff? Or are they still pretty much stock level and whatnot?
My main bike that I use, the Mud, man, it's snorkeled out. I got big wheels on it. I have 14-inch wheels with 30-inch tires on it, and then have like a 2-inch lift on it. But
now you put the lift on yourself?
Sir. Yes, sir. I put the lift on myself. It's actually easy. It's not hard. I grew up working on cars with my stepdad. So, working on four is easier than car, way easier. Unless you got something like a Can-Am. Man, that Can-Ams are hard to work on. They're expensive and hard. They like Cadillac, four-wheel.
Are they really? Yeah. Really? Why? Cause I always thought Polaris was like supposed to be like the top of the line or whatever, but I've heard a couple people talking about Can-Am.
Yeah, lately. Man. Can-Am, for its horsepower, well, Polaris, they gaining ground back now. So, but Can-Am, man, they got a whole lot of horsepower. You mess around, put a exhaust on it, man, you'll fall in love with that thing. I ain't no Can-Am guy, but when they come through, man, it's like they talking to you. Them things sound good.
And see, that's the thing. I never got into the customization and stuff. It's like I got my biggest thing is I wanted a winch. And I got the winch, and then I got the skid plate. That's what they call it, the upgraded skid plate. But like I've seen people, man, they come through, like you say, with the 2-3 inch lifts, and then the snorkel kit. Now, I think I know, but what is the purpose of the snorkel kit? Like, how does that actually function, and where is that even bolted on?
Your snorkel basically is, when you close all your belts, all your air box, you seal everything off, and you running a pipe from your hose, like your overflow hoses or your rear differential overflow hoses. You're basically running up to either up by your frame to the top, basically like a pipe sticking up out the ground. What it do is, once you seal everything out, it keep water from getting in the inside of your motor or your belt box or whatever. It basically, it's like what we call a submarine. You can put your bike under the water and leave it running. Loan them pipes out the water, your bike will still run. It keep water from getting in your motor.
Gotcha. It just basically just filter it all
Yes,
out
sir.
instead of it going in there.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
That's what I kind of figured, but I wasn't 100% sure. Cause like I said, I've seen people, they come through and I mean, they've put as much into their ATV as they do a car or a truck, man, just with the lift and stuff. And I never understood why anybody would put chrome on ATV.
Man,
like what? Like, you know, I seen people like with chrome wheels and stuff. And it's like, especially if you out like in the mud, like you taking it out and you using the ATV, what it's supposed to be used for. Now, street ATVs and stuff, that's a whole different ball game. And you know, God love them. They do what they want. I've even seen where you can get like slick tires for your ATV to ride in the street. And I just think there's something wrong with that. That's just fundamentally wrong. That's not what an ATV or a side by side was meant for. It's not to ride up and down Peachtree. It's to down, you know, you got to get down in the mud and stuff like that. Again, another rant for a whole nother day. But so, and then the lift kit, the snorkel kit, what other adjustments you made to yours?
Basically, for the lift kit, tires, I missed the motor one time, you know, with water. Before I put my snorkel on, I messed around and drowned it out. It got water in it, so I had to rebuild the whole motor, basically break it down, clean out everything out, and then put new piston. I put a different piston in, the aftermarket piston. Went bigger, you know, to give more horsepower. Then I put a gear reduction. The gear reduction, what it basically do, put this big gear in the transmission, and it give it more horsepower on the bottom end, but it cut speed on the top end. It basically giving you horsepower where you can turn bigger tires.
Okay.
So it's about Honda 420. You know, I tell anybody it's light. It ain't got the most power, but it's light and get you where you want. Basically, anybody tell you around here, my bike, I can basically take it, do whatever the guy with the 40s and all that. You know, only way I might get hung up if the embankment coming out is too steep. But
and you can't get no traction to come on up.
Anything else like we do, we have a little competition amongst each other. You know, it'd be Honda against Can-Am, Polaris. You know, basically Honda against Can-Am, and man, I see guys come out with 1,000 Can-Am with 20-inch wheel, 37-inch tire, and get hung up. I take that little 420, and basically once they get out, I go straight through it.
I was about to say, you just zip right on through.
Yeah, they say I'm cheating. I told them, hey, it's mud. And when it comes to competition, they say, bring what you got.
Right?
Yeah.
Dance with who brung
exactly.
you.
So, man, it be all fun and games, you know. If you got to get serious, mud ain't for you. No, there gonna be a lot of noise talking.
Right.
You know, don't nobody mean no harm. You know, we just all like to have fun. If it get too serious, you know, I tell people, hey, you need to go on. You know, we don't want none of that out there. Fighting, anything.
Right.
If you feel like it go get like that, you don't need to mud with us. We just like to have fun. We don't care who you is, where you from. If you come and drink beer, have fun, and just, you know, have fun, come on down.
Yeah. Now, y'all don't have no Yamaha guys out there?
We got whatever brand of bike is out there, you go see it on the ride. You'll see some 3-wheelers, you know, from back in the day, still running, old 4-wheelers. You know, Honda's about the only thing you go see probably over 20 years old that's still out there. So, but anything Chinese built, whatever they make, you'll see it.
Man, how them little knockoff Chinese
they don't
ATVs
stand up.
work, man? Do you have to? I was gonna say, cause that's exactly what I see a lot of times. Like I said, going back when I ride Durham Town, a lot of times when I see guys pulled over, that's what them little knockoff ATVs that just they weren't built for.
They don't stand up. One guy, he come out there with one, and man, I think he didn't make it 5 minutes into the ride after the first 2 holes, and we had to pull him back.
Man, I had a guy one time when I was teaching my son and daughter how to ride, and I was teaching them. I mean, they had little small ATVs, because like the place we could go, they could rent one for their size, because I couldn't turn them loose on mine yet because of where I was staying, not being in the country. I didn't want to buy them ATVs and stuff, so we rent one for the day. I turn them loose, let them ride or whatever. So we was on the little circle track. I mean, nothing special, just goes in a circle, like just enough so you can get comfortable with the machine, turning and stuff like that. I mean, it's a NASCAR circle, like nothing special, no humps, no bumps, nothing. So we get out there, they ride, and they having a good time. Then this other guy comes, and beside that one is another, basically a kiddie track. Now this one, still a circle, nothing special, but it's just got like some humps in it. So, you can get used to bumping a little bit. No holes, nothing to go around. You're good to go. Maybe even get used to, shifting if you, cause a lot of those little rental units, they're not automatic. So you still got to shift and stuff. Yeah. So there was a guy that came out there, and his little boy had one of them little knockoff ATVs, and God bless him. He getting out there and just going around, having a good time. I think he got around maybe 1.5 times the thing shut off. Just completely cut off. I said, okay, so I'm, watching my kids, they doing their thing, be respectful on the track, and, whatever. So finally, probably after about, 30 minutes of his dad sitting there, cause he was on a dirt bike, and, sitting there or whatever, and they trying to figure it out or whatever. So finally I walk over and I say, hey man, need some help? Like, how can I help you or whatever? And, I started looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, why did you bring this out here? Why did you? Like, and he was like, I was just, letting him run a little bit and get used to it, and then we were going to go hit a trail. And again, I'm thinking in my mind, no, you wasn't. No, you wasn't.
Nah, you wasn't going to make it.
It's good that this happened on the kiddie trail before you even got out there on the A and B trails, which is like entry level trails. You talking about you gonna go out there on the trail, and I'm just sitting there like, nah, you wasn't gonna make it. I say, hey man, I got you. I got a little, matter of fact, you don't even need a wrench. I got a little tow rope that I keep, under my seat or whatever. So I put the tow rope on. I said, where'd you guys park? And, he parked across the street or whatever in the staging area. And I said, hey, I'll tow it back over there for him. And if you don't mind, I said, little fella, he can ride on the back with me, no problem. He's like, okay. So we tow him back. Of course, the kid's having a ball, and, I tow him back to, vehicle or whatever, and we walking in the little lodge, and we're hanging out in the lodge, and I see his wife come up. And the wife looks at him with complete disgust, because, now their little kid can't enjoy his ATV experience. And I think they came from like North Georgia somewhere far. It wasn't close. And she's looking at me, and she's like, oh, thank you so much. And it's like, I'm just so glad you were able to help. I'm just like, lady, calm down. Like, I just wanted to help you and your husband out. I ain't come in for no smoke. But she looking at me all googly eyed, and she looking at him like, I told you not to buy that cheap shit. Oh man, but I always kind of like the bigger versions of those, cause they're, the price point, they're not bad, but shoot, the money that you spend on that, you might as well go ahead and try to save up a couple of dollars and go ahead and get you something better. Yeah,
cause they don't last long. I'm like you, if somebody come with one, I'll be like, man, you just don't know. You ain't got yourself nothing.
You don't know the trouble you fixing to get yourself
in. If they get on the ride, hey, you stay close to me, because I know we gonna have to get you back real soon.
Right. You ain't even touch no water or nothing. You gonna just a little dab of dust get up in that motor, cause them things ain't got no covers on the motor, nothing, no kind of dust cover, no dust pan, nothing.
Is out in the middle of the open. So it's sucking up dust and everything, get water, whatever you hit.
Yeah, you exposed. So what in the world? Man, I hope you guys really enjoyed the first part of the conversation that I had with Fred Newton from Southern Attraction Mudslangers. Man, we got into a lot about the ATV and stuff. Make sure you come back next week and catch part 2 of my conversation with Fred. And then in the meantime, you guys should run over to Instagram and check him out at Fred Newton 07. He's got like I said, some really cool videos from his ATV riding. Just like a lot of fun, a lot of mudding going on down there in Arkansas. Once again, I want to say thank you to you guys for downloading the podcast, supporting the Bryant Land brand. Make sure you're checking out everything Bryant Land on our website, bryantlandcountry.com. It's got everything that you need. Got videos, got podcasts, got some blog posts, merchandise at the website, bryantlandcountry.com. I almost jumped into my Instagram. Instagram is at official Bryant Land. Of course, Twitter at 3BryantLand, and then Bryant Land on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. But y'all make sure y'all come back next week for part 2 of my conversation, talking more ATVs, talking more mudding, talking about some hunting, everything fun outdoors. Me and old Fred Newton going to talk about it. Make sure you join us next week for another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Bryant Land Country Podcast, hosted by AB3. Please leave us a positive review and 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to check out our podcast section on our website, bryantlandcountry.com, for previous podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at official Bryant Land and Twitter at 3BryantLand. This has been an AB3 media production. Join us next time for another edition of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.